What are the odds you and I'd end up at the same summer camp? Relax. You have to let go of the past.
I don't remember my past.
It's causing you doubt.
Why? Because nothing, not your army, not your red, white, and blue attack dog can save.
With the capstone for the Avengers series, Endgame is well behind us. There are still plenty of enemies coming out of the woodwork. In fact, a number of Avengers enemies didn't even make appearances in the initial franchise. Many fans believe this is paving the way for all the spin-off films. That is why today we are breaking down 10 Marvel villains still lurking around the MCU. Number 10, Red Skull. Red Skull has always been Captain America's most iconic foe, so it makes sense he was the adversary in Cap's first MCU film. At the end of the first Avenger, Red Skull is sucked up into space by the Tesseract. That was the last we saw of him until he made his return in Infinity War as Stonekeeper of the Soul Stone. A little confusing what Red Skull's involvement can be going forward, since Cap returned all of the Infinity Stones. Is Red Skull still bound to serve on Vormir? The filmmakers have said he's now a ghost of the man that he once was, but there is still a possibility he could become a cosmic threat at some point. It's clear the creative forces behind the MCU may not know exactly which direction to take Red Skull next. That being said, they are definitely keeping him in their back pocket, just in case. Only time will tell whether we see him make another appearance anytime soon. Number 9, Justin Hammer. Now, Justin Hammer might not be the most intimidating villain the MCU has produced, but thanks to Sam Rockwell's performance, he is one of the most entertaining. Hammer was sort of a secondary antagonist in Iron Man 2, although we can't help but wonder if that film would have been better with him front and center. Hammer is imprisoned at the end of the film and hasn't been seen since, aside from a brief appearance in a one-shot, which did confirm he is still in prison. It would be great to see him get out eventually, as he would make a great villain for Ant-Man and the Wasp to face. Sam Rockwell has been candid about his Justin Hammer performance, and he's definitely ready and willing to take on the villain in case they decide to bring him back into the ring. Number 8, Zemo. Zemo is another of Captain America's main villains from the comics to make it into the MCU. Though missing his famous purple hood, Zemo did appear in Civil War as the troublemaker behind the superheroes fighting each other. He was a small but pivotal role in the film and was incarcerated by the end. Zemo proved to be quite the mastermind in Civil War, and it would be great to see what else he has up his sleeve. It appears as though we might be getting our wish to see more of him soon, as he is rumored to be returning for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series on Disney+. Number 7, Baron Mordo. Baron Mordo is a key villain for Doctor Strange and a frequent servant of Dormammu. However, in Doctor Strange's first solo film, Mordo was one of Strange's closest allies. He is a fellow sorcerer and loyal follower of the Ancient One. Well, that is until he finds out his mentor has used dark magic for her own purposes. By the end of the film, Mordo abandons the path of the Sorcerer Supreme and sets out to rid the world of those who possess the mystic arts. This end for the character seems to set him up perfectly for the next Doctor Strange film, which is said to be a part of Phase 4. Considering that Dormammu is a strong contender for serving as the lead villain in the upcoming MCU films, many fans think that Baron Mordo will most likely join his former leader. Of course, no one can say for sure whether a character like him can make the cut. We'll just have to wait and see what happens next with Baron Mordo, as he may or may not make an appearance for some time. Number 6, Aisha. Aisha is the High Priestess of the Sovereign, a genetically engineered race who see themselves as superior to all others in the universe. In Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Aisha seeks to destroy the Guardians for stealing from the Sovereign and insulting them. The Guardians succeed in decimating her army, but in the post-credits scene, we see she has created a new being to stop them, Adam Warlock. Now, it is unclear if Adam Warlock will be included in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but if he is, it is safe to assume Aisha will make her return again. If not, she is a character who could conceivably appear in any cosmic adventure of the MCU. This versatile enemy may pop up where we least expect her. Fans are already taking bets on when we will see her return, and most importantly, where. Number 5, Abomination. The Incredible Hulk is likely the most forgotten of the MCU films, but it did give us a fairly memorable villain with Abomination. A frequent foe of Hulk in the comics, Abomination is the creature that Emil Blonsky becomes, attempting to match Hulk's power. He is eventually defeated by Hulk and taken into custody by General Ross. A solo Hulk film does not seem to be a high priority for the MCU, and given the complicated rights issues, it's unlikely that we'll see one soon. But with such a powerful villain still out there, it seems like only a matter of time before Abomination is reintroduced. In fact, many fans believe that he could return once again as Hulk's enemy in a reboot. Fans also believe that he has to, considering some of the loose ends that haven't been tied up in the previous Hulk films. Only time will tell how he shapes up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Number 4. The Vulture. For Spider-Man's first solo adventure in the MCU, they wisely went with a member of his rogues gallery who had yet to appear on the big screen. While Homecoming's version of Vulture was quite different from the comic book iteration, he did prove to be a memorable villain. Michael Keaton was fantastic in the role, and there was a great twist with the character as well. Though Vulture was put in prison at the end of the film, he is confirmed to be involved in Spider-Man Far From Home. It remains to be seen if he'll have turned over a new leaf, or if he will continue his villainous ways, perhaps as part of the Sinister Six. Many fans of the Vulture are hoping that he will play a larger role in upcoming films. That being said, many believe he may not just be a big enough villain to fill the shoes of the previous enemies. Number 3. Yon-Rogg. The Kree-Skrull War was a key storyline in Marvel Comics, and Captain Marvel brought it to the big screen, albeit on a much smaller scale. But in a clever twist, the Skrull, who are typically villains in the comics, were shown to be victims of the Kree's tyrannical rule. This led to the reveal that Yon-Rogg, Carol Danvers' mentor, was a villain all along. Yon-Rogg is spared by Carol and sent back to the Kree homeworld after being defeated. It makes sense that he and the other Kree might seek revenge on Captain Marvel, or perhaps invade Earth again. Number 2. The Mandarin. One of the most controversial choices the MCU has ever made was their reimagining of the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. The character was Iron Man's main foe in the comics and was seen as a powerful and evil mastermind. The film portrayed him as a drunken actor, playing the role of a criminal for the film's real villain, Aldrich Killian. Some found it clever and hilarious take on the character, while others found it to be a major letdown. We did find out in a Marvel one-shot that there is in fact a real Mandarin lurking out there somewhere. Kevin Feige recently confirmed that the character would appear at some point in the future. Number 1. Dormammu. Perhaps the most powerful villain that we have seen in the MCU to date is Dormammu, the Lord of the Dark Dimension. Dormammu's powers and abilities rival just about any being in the Marvel Universe. He was almost unleashed on the realm of the living in Doctor Strange, until Strange trapped him in a time loop and barred him from his conquest. A character as evil as Dormammu will not likely take such a defeat lightly. Chances are he'll make another attempt at taking over the dimensions before long. He might even be a villain worthy of reassembling the Avengers to fight against. In fact, many fans are betting on Dormammu as taking over the reins as the next Thanos-style villain. Of course, many are also betting against this. As of now, creatives behind the MCU have neither confirmed nor denied Dormammu's role in upcoming films. That being said, many believe it is obvious that he'll be taking on a huge part of the Avengers franchise. Only time will tell. Now we want to hear from all the fans in the comment section below. Let us know who you think deserves to take the next villain spotlight in any upcoming MCU film. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new updates. This has been our breakdown of the 10 Marvel villains still lurking around the MCU. Have a good one, and join us next time.